licking herself because she just ate. Welcome to the 9 Lives podcast. I'm your host, Crazy Avey, aka Anne-Marie Avey. As you can tell, it's dark out. And this is not the morning time, but that's okay. I had to work this morning, which shoot me in the face. It was so slow because it was after the Halloween weekend and everyone was basically hungover. I had a couple nice guys that came in and hung out with me. But other than that, it was pretty dead. Sometimes it's nice when it's slow though. You know what I mean? Because you can really get into conversations with people and you don't have to take care of a lot of things and you're just shooting the shit on a Monday afternoon, you know? And I'm drinking this it's like this herb. It's like this nut herb. I don't know what it is. I have to look and read what it is. But basically you put it in hot water and then it blooms out into this floaty thing. It's like this Chinese herb. It's supposed to help with sore throat and things like that. And when I've started working in a bar, and even when I used to work at the bar all the time, my voice just gets fatigued. It just gets tired. And so it's harder to sing, and then it's harder to do podcast or whatever. And it's not harder. It's just, it's more strain on the voice. And so you have to keep your vocal cords in a healthy state as much as you can by doing vocal warm-ups or whatever, and also drinking tea and also just shutting the fuck up and not talking, which I'm not doing, which is why you're listening to the podcast right now. But I'm drinking this herb thing and it does help a lot. If you guys are interested in what that's called, let me know. I'll tell you what it is. But it's actually every time I drink it, my I don't know, it relaxes and just, it seems to kind of get the edge out of my voice a lot when I start to drink it. It's nice. But anyways, yeah, this past weekend, it wasn't Halloween, but it was Halloween. You know, Saturday is kind of like Halloween day. When Halloween lands on a Wednesday, people always ask me, are you going to dress up the weekend before or the weekend after? Look, when 31st happens, it's over. Halloween is over. You're in November. Game on, turkey. That's you're not celebrating after Halloween. It's not happening. So everything before is crazy. And when it's not on the weekend, every day is Halloween. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're dressing up, you know? So it's one of my favorite holidays. I love dressing up. I love getting creative. I love seeing other people get creative. People are so happy in their costumes, but I would feel like it's such a shitty holiday to be a police officer. When you're, I don't know, chasing down a perp and you're clown costume going down on Main Street, taking a right. Oh, he's lost the wig. We're on foot. I don't know. It just would be really strange to and then let me see your ID and someone has full-fledged makeup on and just looks crazy. It would be really tough to work Halloween as a police officer. I will say that right now. It's tough checking people's IDs at the bar and they're in their costume and you're I guess you're 21. These two friends, they were really cute. They were each dressed in peas costume. They were this peas and they were 2 peas in a pod. That was really cute. And speaking of costumes, the next video that comes out this Thursday, I have a costume idea and you see it unfold before you. So what it is, I have this idea. I obviously take some edibles and then I try to create it. And I think it actually worked. I think I kind of nailed it. But I'm not dressing up and going out in public in it because I have to work on Halloween. And I'm pretty sure I don't think I could wear this costume at work. Like, I mean, maybe I could, but that'd be really funny if I wore this costume. But it's really exciting. It's obviously a cat twist. Every year I try to do a cat twist. A couple years ago, I was Catflix and Chill. I think I've told you this about the last podcast, but we'll go over it again. Catflix and Chill had the sweatshirt made that said Catflix, even though it looks like Netflix. I was the cat that got your tongue, which was really fun. Had a fake tongue. I was Cat Yonsei, and my friend Kareem was JC. We were basically just Beyonce and Jay-Z as cats. Like my cat twists are very low key, but it's always fun to like have a wordplay with it. And then I was, God, I'm like so many things and I don't even remember all of. Oh, I was the cat burglar, where I just like stole your cats and like dressed up as a burglar. Like that's, I try and always get that cat twist in there. Now this Saturday I dressed up as Cleopatra, which was really fun. And people just were like, yes, Cleopatra, get it. And I was like, I'm Cleopatra. And I'd hiss at them. I go and walk away to strangers. Like, I'm sure I looked really weird, but that's okay. That's what Halloween's all about. Halloween allows you to be really weird and it looks normal. You know what I mean? So it's all good. Does anyone else do that though? Like, I've never met anyone who always has like a cat twist on Halloween costumes. Like I never, and you can't just be a cat. Although there were a few of you, by the way, shout out to the cat cult. There were a few of you that sent me pictures of you wearing your cat cult t-shirts and then dressed up as a cat. Some of you had contacts in, some had fangs. Some were just wearing cat ears, to work or something with the cat cult tee. I loved it so much. It was just so fun to see everyone out there representing that goddamn cat cult t-shirt. By the way, we still have a few left and like only certain sizes. So if you want to get on there, I'll put the link below for sure. And then the new video from last week is out. There's a pumpkin carving contest, and Austin and I have a contest on who could make the best Papa Puff Pants pumpkin 4P. It's really hard to say. That's why there was a big long pause there. The Papa Puff Pants pumpkin is a challenge. And I said I won, obviously. And there are a few of you that thought Austin won, and then a few that didn't. But it was a good time. Obviously, we were on edibles, and that was the first time I was high carving a pumpkin. And you know what? I'll do it again. It made it a lot. Well, to be fair, I feel like I went a lot slower. Like I just kind of did dilly-dallied around, played with Papa, all that kind of stuff. But it was still really fun. I enjoy it. And I've yet to watch a scary movie this Halloween, which I really need to do, or like Hocus Pocus or something. I need to watch something to get in the mood, because even though it feels like Halloween's already over, because the weekend, for me anyways, I like to still be on brand with the holidays. So I will be watching some sort of movie. I'm still thinking of a costume for Papa. I got to figure that out. But I think he'll be easy to do. Like I was like, he could just be a cotton ball. Like I was like looking at him. And I was just like, I'll just sprinkle some like stuffing around him and be like, look, he's a cotton ball. I'm just like, honestly, he could just walk around being himself. And I'm like, there's a snowflake. Like I wouldn't have to do anything. Maybe I would just be an ear or something. A cotton ball. Wait, what would you use? Yeah, I could just be like an ear and he could be a Q-tip or something. Right, Papa? He heard me talking about him. Papa, Peepee, Kimmy, Kimmy. He like came running over here because he knew I was, right, Papa? You heard me talking about you. He knows his name. Like, he knows quite a few words, and he definitely knows his name. Right, Papa? I wish you could see him. Every time I say Papa, he like looks at me. It's so cute, you little cutie patootie. But yeah, I went out Saturday. We went to Dragula, it was so fun. If you watched my Insta story, you saw like it's like this huge. It's downtown LA at the fuck, I forgot what it was called, but it's like this huge venue, and you go in, and the ceiling, it's like 3 balconies tall. You walk in, there's like the lighting is spectacular. There's like a catwalk. People are all around the stage. Kareem and I had general admission, and we were drinking in line, which was really fun. Like everyone was like, there was like this little store, and then you could just drink in line. We waited probably about like a half hour, which wasn't bad. We had already had tickets, so it was fine. But yeah, we go there, and it's hosted by a couple of drag queens, and then drag queens perform, but like with a Halloween twist. So if you're not familiar of drag queens and what they do, first of all, you should watch RuPaul's Drag Race immediately. Hi. Yeah, good boy. Sorry, he's coming over here, and we have to stop everything. We have to stop the podcast. We have to stop my life because Papa just came over and might come into my lap. We'll have to see what happens. Stay tuned. But yeah, the Dragula was so fun, and they like what they do is they lip sync. They lip sync a whole song and then like act it out as well. So this one woman comes on, and I don't know what song it was. It reminds me of the song that's opening to the True Blood. Like, I feel like it was like kind of like that song, but it wasn't the exact song. By the way, True Blood's great, but like only the first couple seasons, and then it kind of like went downhill for there. But that's my personal opinion, and I'm allowed to have it. But yeah, so she does this thing. This man, a real guy, like in shorts or whatever, is like lying down on this operating table. She's like dressed in like a darker, like a more morbid looking operating doctor style costume. And she like has her big bag full of tools, and she comes out and she starts like doing things on him, like just like rubbing him down and like whatever. And then like quote unquote cuts him open, and then like all this blood and guts come out, and she starts just like a ton of intestines and stuff, and she just like drapes it over, and like all this blood down like all around her body, down her mouth. And then she was walking down the runway, and she's like whipping the intestines down the runway, and it was like really disgusting and like fascinating to watch, and it was a live performance, and you know, it was interesting. I'm all for it because I love any performance where you put effort into, and I want to see something work. For example, let me tell you this little story. I went to this it was like there's a place called Nerd Melt here, and I think actually it just closed down because one of the guy came out that was like sexually abusing people or whatever. So anyways, that's a side somber note. But what I'm trying to say is there's like this really big, it was like in a comic book store. It's called the Nerd Melt. It was like this really great place to go. And it was a cool venue. And they would have like great comics there that would pop in, stop by all the time. Like Sarah Silverman and Louis C.K. Like a bunch of big names would come in there and do some stand-up bits, not like huge amounts of time, just like try out some stuff. And then there would always be like improv groups or like sketch comedy groups that would come in and also perform during these like sets. So one of them, I don't know who it was, but it was this one, it it was this one skit. I'm like laughing about it because I thought it was so awkward and hilarious, but some people were like uncomfortable. But what it was this, they're like at a bank and they like go in and these people are like trying to withdraw whatever. And then a couple bank robbers come in and they're like, hey, everyone stop, drop, blah, blah, blah. Give me all your money. And they're like, oh my God, yeah. And they like get down on the floor. They're like doing all this stuff, right? And then one of them is like, all right, now eat this whole thing of bread. And it's like one of those super long, like French baguette things that you see at like, Ralph's or Safeway. And they're like, I don't know how long this is, like 2 feet or something. Like it was a really long thing. And she's like, what? He's like, yeah, start eating it. Eat it now. And so she starts to like eat this bread. And it's like really hard for her to eat because like, I don't know if you've ever eaten saltine crackers or just bread by yourself as you're like trying to stuff it in. It's really tough to eat. And so he like gives her some water to try to make it go faster. But then the whole thing is her eating the entire bread and that's it. And he just like, hurry up. And she's like, yeah. She's like eating it and she just keeps going. And it's so awkward. It's so awkward and uncomfortable. And like the whole audience is like, is this seriously like continuing on? Like it took, I want to say, maybe 10 minutes for her to finish that loaf of bread. Like it took so long. And the audience was like, come on, man. Like some people were like, geez. And then the guy was like still in character, was like, shut up. Let her eat the bread. Like it was like really bizarre and weird. And I enjoyed it because it was so like not unconventional. Like I like things that are unconventional. I'm not saying it worked. Let me just get that clear. I'm not saying it necessarily worked, but I enjoy when people like shock your system a little bit, like do something that's unexpected or has a twist in there that you weren't thinking about. And my friend McKenna was with me and she was one of the people that was like, oh my God, I can't keep watching this. Like, cause it's so uncomfortable because this girl like looks like she's in pain trying to like eat this bread. And I was like laughing. I was like, this is so awkward. Haha. Like, it was one of those awkwardness. But it's stuff like that I enjoy. But at the Dragula, there's also Trixie Mattel, who I don't know if you know who that is, but she's a famous drag queen. And then she performed a couple songs and she was really good. And she also sang live, which is like kind of rare for a drag queen. Drag queens normally just lip sync, which, by the way, I'm kind of upset that drag queens took that game. You know what I mean? Because I have a pretty good lip syncing game, and I've been lip syncing since age 5 in the middle of the grocery aisles. You know what I mean? At school, like put me on there. I was in Germany lip syncing. Like, you know what I mean? Like I can lip sync for my life. And, but I'm not a drag queen and I can't make a living off of it. And I'm a little upset by that. I'll just tell you that. But it's really entertaining to watch. So if you ever like watch drag queens, that's good. RuPaul's Drag Race, they do that all the time. But yeah, so the party was really fun. The light show was great. And my friend and I agree, and we just danced the night away. And then there were these two, like one of them I know, but like the other one I didn't know, these gay guys. And they started just like grinding on each other really hard. And to the point where we were like, are you going to come? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, do you need to come? Because I feel like you're at that point and I just need you to release in order to relax. Like, please relax. Like, do what you need to do, but just relax. Like, it's so interesting. Like, so many of the gays at these club, like, atmospheres have zero fucks. Like, absolutely zero fucks. And there are definitely some women and men out there that do that too. Like when they get to the club, just like really grind. Like they just dry fuck on the dance floor, basically. But I feel like the gays, it's way more common. You know what I mean? It's like, it's way more common. But, or maybe I'm just going to the wrong clubs. I don't know. But it's always entertaining. I'm just like, well, Kareem, it's just you and I, and we're definitely not dry fucking. So we'll keep our little space, but definitely we go down when Madonna hits on and all that shit. And they were playing such good music. They had like hip hop. I don't know. I just had a really good time dancing. Sometimes you just have to dance it out. Dance for your life. Papa, why are you staring at me like that? He looks really angry, but he's by the litter box, so I think he might go to the bathroom. Maybe that's why he looks really angry, like something's about to explode, you know? But with him, I can't tell. If animals could talk, I'm actually really grateful my cat can't talk. Like, I'm like, really? Like, I gotta listen to somebody else? Like, I just like, and you know, technically he does talk because he meows all the time. Like, this morning, it was like 7 a.m., you know, and I was like, fuck, I gotta feed you. TikTok, you know? Oh, there he goes. He's in the litter box. Do you like the play-by-play here? It's like the sports. Papa Puff rounding the corner, about to go into that litter box, and oh yeah, he slid home all right. That'll be another dump for the Papa. This weekend was also the World Series, which in LA it was a big deal. I don't know if it was a big deal where you are, but in LA it was a big deal because the Dodgers were in it and they hadn't been in it. They hadn't won since like 1988 or something. It was a big thing. Here's the thing. I'm a Mariners fan, so like don't care, you know? And it's like being a Mariners fan, like you just learn to accept not caring very much. Like you're going to have an easier time in life if you don't care as much. And I've learned that by being a Mariners fan. So thank you, Mariners, for every year getting my hopes up and every year allowing to release those hopes in a healthy, productive way. Cheers to you. Excuse me. But yeah, the Dodgers game, I think it was like Thursday or I think it was Friday or Thursday. I don't know, but it went 18 innings long. And people left. This guy came in today. Was at that World Series game. Went to the game. Left. Oh, Papa, I can smell it. Make sure you cover that up now. Oh, Papa, he really went. No wonder he was looking at me so angrily. It all makes sense. Oh, God, Papa. Litter box is like right here. You know what I mean? It's right. It's actually, I say it's like right here, like on camera, but really it's just in the room where I do everything because I live in a studio. So that's like one of the things about the downside is like there's no place to put the litter box. It's just going to have to be in your room. And sometimes when they're extra stinky, right, Papa? He's over here now. When they're extra stinky, you just got to live with it. And it's fucking worth it because you're worth it. Oh, you're welcome. I love you too. Do you want to go outside? Yep. Now he's going to go outside for a little bit. Good boy, Papa. He's going outside. Oh, God. Thank God he left. Now I can really talk shit about him. That little asshole stinking up this whole place. Just kidding. I love him. But yeah, this guy came in today. He went to the World Series game. He was at that game that was 18 innings long, and he left at like the 11th inning. Here's the thing. Why are you there? Why are you there? Why, are you there? He said he left, went to a bar, watched 2 more innings, then went to a friend's house, continued drinking, and watched the rest of the game. Why? You were at you had World Series tickets and then you left? Like, I don't understand that. Look, if that's your team, especially, like, just show out. Like, why do you have to, like, leave? I don't understand that. And people are like, oh, traffic. This could be an amazing, they like ended up winning that game. Like, that was like the one good game that they had. You could have that story for the rest of your life, but you're choosing the story of, yeah, I was at the World Series and, I just decided to leave. Oh no, someone's here. Austin, go answer. Someone's here. Suddenly it kind of felt like Mr. Rogers. Like, I had a guest and we were about to he's about to come in. I'm going to take his shoes off or something. But that was really awkward. See, this is why I don't do things until at night. Like, I don't do this at night. Like, most people reach me at night. Most people come by at night. No one talks to me early in the morning because they fucking know better. That's right. They know better to not disturb me. What happened?
It was a delivery for what?
Oh, it was a delivery for my neighbor. Well, thanks a lot, bro. What time is it? It's like 8 p.m. Did I already talk about this on the podcast? But you were telling me, Austin, that time. God, that smells so bad. I gotta open up this fucking door. Papa. When he does it, he really does it. Talking about how drones have started delivering packages to people in the UK. Now, what I still don't understand how that works or is legal. But drones, is that Amazon that's doing it? So Amazon in the UK uses drones to pick up the packages, fly to your house, and drops it off at your house. And they have a little camera, which is also awkward. What if my house is a mess? What if my front stoop has a bunch of shit on it? What if I'm passed out drunk from the night before and now I'm on camera? I do not like that. But it just doesn't seem right. It seems very it seems like the beginning of the end. You know what I mean? We got, you're going to be out of, UPS people are going to be out of a job because we'll just have the whole flying industry. And by the way, what about drone crashes? Does that happen? Does it run into stuff? Does it run into other drones? What do you do? And then who goes out to take care of it? Another drone comes and picks it up, or does a person? See, it gets very confusing for me. It's not confusing. It's just, is it easier? I don't know if it's really easier. We're going to have air traffic. It's like the Jetsons. We're going to have air traffic control for packages. But maybe people were like this. Maybe people thought like this when planes first came out. Maybe that was their mentality and they couldn't wrap their head around it. And now look at today. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe I'm one of those weird people that but it just seems very a little too robotic for me, a little too things could go wrong with robots taking over the world. And Amazons are working on this thing where robots are these machines are just going to get all the packages and know where they are. And then they just bring it to the person at the front. So like, there's like rows and rows of packages and rows and like organized how to do everything, whatever that is, like whatever you buy online and all that kind of shit, right? There's warehouse after warehouse of this. And drones know where everything is. They like program it. It's all inside their chip, like whatever, their brain chip. And so they know everything. So eventually they're just going to go get the package and then bring it back to the person at the front. And that's like so crazy to me too. Like and they like put it away, package it, bring it back. Like it's so weird. Like it's something that I really am interested in. Like I'm fascinated with the development of it, but it's also something that's like, are we not really like, how many movies have we seen where this goes wrong? I mean, too many to count. And it's like, don't we know the end of the story? Like, don't we know what the end of the story is? It's actually exactly what I was talking to this guy last night, and and I was talking about restaurant service industry and like the love games inside. If you worked at a bar, you worked in a restaurant, you know all about the triangles of love in a restaurant. Either like they used to date, now they don't. Like, okay, for example, one time at the bar that I used to work at up in Seattle, we made this like web of listing everyone's name and then connecting a dot to who they've all hooked up with or made out with. And I was the only one except with this one other girl who was like in her 40s and the kitchen staff that hadn't hooked up with people in the industry in the own restaurant. So when I go to this new restaurant, right, I'm at this new place and Q's, by the way, you should come down. And I'm at Q's and they're talking about relationship behind the scene hookups and drama and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it's happened at every bar restaurant that I've been to. Everyone that's hooked up with everyone, there's always a couple of them in there. And then they break up and then they hook up with other people in the restaurant. And then that gets messy. Every single time it has happened. Every restaurant I've been in, this is the story. Okay? And what I don't understand necessarily is like, why do you think it's going to be different? Like every time I go there, I'm like, why do people, and a lot of these are really young too. Like some of them are like 22, 21 years old, newly drinkers, right? Let's put that in right away. Newly drinkers, new to the drinking scene. Well, I wouldn't say drinking scene, but like at an age where you can now go to a bar. And then also you hook up with people who usually have been there forever. Like, you know what I mean? Who's like seen quite a list of people, And so like there are some young men and women that like have to learn the hard way is what I would say. But my point is we know the story. The story's not going to be different. You're always going to end up frustrated, hurt, alone, whatever. A bunch of hot people working at a bar, like alcohol's involved. You work a hard shift and then you drink after work or you drink, sometimes at work, depending on your place. But it always ends up a mess every single time. And then that's what I'm saying about these like robots. It's like, we know the end of the story. The end of the story is we're all going to die. The end of the story is like, you're going to cry at the bar. Like we know the end of the story. It's never changed. You don't need a Hollywood movie to know what that story is going to be. You know what I mean? And sometimes I still don't understand why people do that continuously, because we know But honestly, it's one of the hardest things is to change that pattern. It's one of the hardest things. It's something that I'm like really proud of. Doesn't mean I've had a perfect relationship. Obviously, I've had fucked up relationships my whole life. But that's one thing I'm very proud of is I've never dated a patron and I've never dated someone I worked with. And I won't because it's just too messy. It becomes too personal. Then you see the person every day. Then if it's a patron, then they're coming in all the time. Then they bring in their girlfriend or their boyfriend to make you jealous sometimes. Or they go on Tinder dates right in front of you at the bar. Like it gets weird. You know what I mean? So it's just too messy. Stay out of the mess. Try to. Every time I feel like people want drama in their lives, but trust me, you're going to live a lot easier the more you choose to try and break the pattern or the more you choose to notice it. Some people don't even want to notice it, you know? Like that's a hard thing is like what pattern is in your life that like keeps coming up and that you notice things and you don't want to like, how do you not repeat it? How do we learn so we don't repeat it? How do you not explode on someone? How do you not shut down on someone every time? How do you not whatever? You got to say no and walk away. I have a friend too who like he has this girlfriend. They've been together on and off for like 3 years. On and off again, on and off again, on like all the time. No one knows that they're together or not because it's too hard to tell everyone that you broke up because you're going to get back together in a couple weeks or a couple months or whatever because you're in this cycle. And the thing is like, you know, it doesn't work. That's why it's not working. And sometimes that's like really hard to admit to yourself because you get lonely or it's nice to watch a movie with someone or, you know, like those little things you want that like, it's just, you want that instant hit for a minute. You know what I mean? Like, let me just get a shot of that and we'll kind of play this game for like a week because it's nice. And then shit hits the fan again because your problems have never been solved and it explodes. And then you're back to square one and then you broke up, blah, blah, blah. Then you get wasted again and you miss and you drunk text each other and then you want to have sex and then you're in that thing again. And it's too much. Like it doesn't end until you have enough respect for yourself and the other person to really say, no, the line is drawn here. But it's all up to you. Like sometimes my friends like, but he like texted me again and he like misses me. And I'm like, for now, you miss him for now. Wait till he like gets in your place again. You start arguing over some bullshit. You know, it's like we have to get over those humps. My humps, my lovely lady lumps. Oh, Fergie Ferg. It's hard to do, though. That's like such a hard thing to do. Oh, let me talk to you about this. So there's this superintendent. Okay, so they're at this school. And it's like this high school. And someone kept finding human feces around the track field, like would just show up randomly. And they couldn't figure out what was going on, like all this kind of stuff. So they set up cameras and they found the school superintendent pooping on the grounds. So then the school dubbed him Pooperintendent. And it's like a news story. The guy gets like fined. Let me look it up because it's kind of incredible. Like he gets like fined. Oh God, let me see this. Pooperintendent. It's a HuffPost article, by the way, if you want to like look it up. But he was arrested. He's a 42-year-old male, first of all. And he's fined $500 and court costs. And he was arrested for lewdness, littering, and defecating in public. What's the difference between littering and defecating in public? Like, I'm confused on that. Like, were they just like defecating? Like, I thought it's defecating in public. Why is littering on there? Maybe he like threw away a gum wrapper when he was caught on camera or something. I don't know. But it was like, I can't even. This is his face. If you look up his face, he looks like he's about to shit. Like, he looks like his jaw's like tense, and he looks like he's holding it in right now and he has to go. But the guy is, let me see. I wish I could. The guy, okay, he blamed public pooping on runner's diarrhea, which NJ.com describes as the sudden urge to go as you're pounding the pavement on a multi-mile jog. I mean, I don't know. I don't really run, so I don't really know if that's true or not. To be fair, my friend... Well, let me tell you this. When I was doing I've done a couple triathlons in my time, and I like how I just say, kind of drop that. You know, I've done a couple triathlons. And I'm the worst at the running. Like, people say the running's easiest, not for me. Like, the swimming's the easiest for me. And the bike was pretty fucking tough too. But I would be like, okay, I'm going to run to that tree and then I'm going to walk a little bit. Now I'm going to run to that rock and I'm going to walk a little bit, was kind of like my running. But my friend, she like comes up behind me. She's like, hey, she's like jogging. She's like, okay, I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And she went to the porta potty, took a shit, put her stuff back on, which was kind of hard to do because like after you're wet and you're like running gear and those like bicycle shorts, like putting on something wet is so hard. So she said she was like really struggling in the porta potty to put on her outfit again. And then she comes back and she's running beside me and passes me. That's how fucking slow of a runner I am. She went, took a shit, struggled to get it back up, and then passed me later. But so it did happen. I don't know if that's because she was running or if it's because, you know, it's like a 4-hour thing and you got to poop sometimes. I don't know. So I don't know if that's a thing, like runner's diarrhea. Actually, let me look up in Urban Dictionary. Thank God for Urban Dictionary. By the way, this is a funny story. I used to hang out with these Mormons in high school who I really loved. And they used to say, poop on a stick, like all the time. And I was like, why? Because they couldn't say hell or like other stuff. So they got in the habit of saying poop on a stick. And I don't really understand why. I don't know if they heard it from somewhere or what. But I like said it one time because I was hanging out with them quite a bit. So like one time I like said it and someone was like, what did you, my mom, it was my mom. Oh my God, it was my mom. She was like, what did you say? And I was like, poop on a stick. I was like, she's like, Amory, do not say that. I was like, why? She's like, do not say that. And I'm like, okay. And so I looked it up and it says, wait, what is this? Poop on a stick. This isn't the, there's like something that means, I forget what it means. It means something sketch, like this, people keep saying like, this means like, oh crap or whatever. But I forget. Oh, but this is what it means. It means this. Dude, that fucking bitch pooped on my stick when I pulled out. First of all, how did my mom know this? First of all, Pat, I know you're listening from heaven and I'm still a little confused by that, Mom. And that was a really awkward conversation for us to have. But yeah, dude, that bitch fucking pooped on my stick when I pulled out. You learn shit every day. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. But what was the other? Oh, yeah. Runner's diarrhea. Let's look it up. Because I don't know if it's really a thing or if this guy's like making it up. Like I've never heard of that, but I'm not a runner. So it's characterized by frequent loose bowel movements during or immediately after a run. It's most common in long distance runners. But they say for at least one day before running, limit or avoid high fiber and gas producing foods. I mean, here's the thing. This guy is like, I was running and so I had to poop on the field. Pick it up. I have to go around pick up dog shit every day. Pick up your human shit, sir. Carry doggy bags. This obviously happens to you quite frequently. Like they kept finding it around the track. Keep some doggy bags on hand and then poop. Fine. Pick it up. Be your own fucking owner and pick up after yourself. Disgusting. What is wrong with people? Or cover it up or something. Like if you like pooped, like I like to say, okay, let's say I pooped. Let's say I had to poop. Right? Like I'm running hard, which is first of all, that's an unrealistic scenario. So let me just back that up. Maybe I'm hiking hard. Okay, like I can hike. And I have to go because, oh my God, there's nothing around, like blah, blah, blah. So I go and poop. I then cover it up like a human being, or I put sticks around it, or I like kind of dig a little bit and then poop on it, or I just bury it. I don't just go, well, see ya, and just bounce for everyone to see. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. You're on a high school field track and you don't think to like cover it up, or it happens all the time. Put some doggy bags on your little belt. God. Like, why do people not think about things sometimes? Or take off your shirt, pick it up, throw your shirt away. You're a man. You can walk without a shirt. And maybe you should wear an old shirt more frequently because it looks like you don't want to bring doggy bags. Honestly, by the way, one time I used to have a golden retriever named Boots, and I picked up her shit or something, and someone came out. They were in a store and they were across the street, and I was downtown Seattle, and I picked up her poop, because you should. So when I grew up in a small town, and so no one picked up their shit if they were because you would just have it in the woods or whatever. So it didn't make sense to, right? But when you're walking them around town or any public place, you have to pick it up, because if you don't, it just piles up and then everyone's dog shits everywhere. And then it's just a shit sidewalk, and it's just not good. But, I picked it up. I was downtown Seattle. This woman was in a restaurant, got up, crossed the street, and said, "Oh my God, I just want to say thank you for picking up your poop." And I was like, yeah, of course. The only time I wouldn't ever is if I didn't have a doggy bag, but then I would find a piece of paper to try and scoop something up. Or I would cover it. I'd be like, fuck, we got to cover this up because I'm out. We just used the last bag. Boots pooped again. Sometimes that happens. One time, there's this church that was right down the street from where I lived, and they had this grass area. So Boots always pooped there. And the church was really nice. They actually had doggy bags on hand for you to pick up the poop and stuff, which was, so they it was a place for dogs to go. This wasn't me just being sacrilegious and shitting on God's lawn. Okay, that's not what's happening here. So I go, and it's Sunday morning. I'm hungover, and I'm waiting for Boots to shit. I'm basically tagging myself, hey, second and broad, me and Boots waiting to shit, because it's taking forever because she can't find the perfect spot. And suddenly, out of nowhere, she starts having diarrhea. And then right when she has diarrhea, guess what happened? Church gets let out. And everyone's dressed really nice. There's like these bells that they ring. And I'm like, oh God, Boots. And she's just going for a long time because like when you have diarrhea, it's not just like a little poop and then you're done. It's just like she's looking at me like, I think I still have to go, but I don't know. So she's like kind of squatting. She's like walking around and she's like walking and squatting. So I'm like following her around trying to like pick up the soup that is her shit and it's not happening. And then people are dressed in like white as they come out the front steps with their hats and like, you know, praising God and being like, you know, we should get together sometime. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. It's like one of those things that's what I don't miss of having a dog is like wondering if they're going to have diarrhea on the lawn of Christ himself. It's one of the things I don't miss. But it was quite entertaining. Like I was so hungover and I was just like, is this my life? Is this my life right now? I don't even know how to. Greetings. Blessed be. Like so awkward. So awkward. But yeah, the guy needs to pick up his own shit, sir. God. People are so weird. Can you imagine being arrested? You're arrested for pooping. And your nickname's the Pooperintendent. Hashtag Pooperintendent. Oh my God. I can't. Horrifying. Like, what would you rather? Oh, God. Like, would you rather? Okay, if you had, here's a good would you rather. Would you rather be arrested? You have to be arrested. Would you rather be arrested for shoplifting or pooping on the lawn? You get to decide. I choose shoplifting. Oh my God. I would much rather have shoplifted. Speaking of that, well, I didn't shoplift, but my friend and I, we were like in high school and we went to Vashon Island, and it's this island in Washington. And my friends had like a cabin there or whatever. So we like, I forget why we were doing that, but we spent like the weekend there or something. And we needed to get beer. So we go to like the local, like, I don't know what it is, like the little mart or whatever. And we're like, okay, we have to ask someone to buy us beer or like alcohol. This is awkward. And so we're like scoping, right? And we're like, we looked at this biker guy and I'm like, no, I'm too scared. Like, I don't want to ask him. And then I see like this lady. She's just shopping and I'm like, let's ask her, right? So she's like shopping and then we're like, hey, this is weird, but would you buy us beer or whatever? And she kind of looks at us and she's like, yeah, I can do that. And we're like, awesome, great, you know, awesome. We're going to buy beer. Like, this is exciting. So she like kind of briskly walks ahead of us to the beer section. We're like, and my friend and I, Ryan, we're like, yeah, we're going to buy this beer. This is awesome. Like, great. Just be cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't act too excited. Like, we're just like, you know, yeah, great. That'd be wonderful. Like, we're just doing a business transaction. And so we get to the section. She's like, what do you want? And we're like, oh, well, let's get a Mike's Hard Lemonade. That was me. And a couple Zimas, also me. And then some like Bud Light, I guess. She's like, yeah, great. And then she looks at us, pulls out her badge. She was an undercover cop for the store and was on her off day. And that's the person that we asked to buy alcohol. So then they like take us downstairs into this like, it's not a dungeon, but it's like this weird downstairs, everything is cement kind of room. And they had us like sign this thing and they took our mugshots and we were banned from the store. Like we were, And I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. They're like, no, you got to take mugshots and you're never to come back here again. And we're like, okay. And my friend, Ryan, he starts getting his mugshot taken. He's like smiling in it. And I'm like, I don't even know I think I'm smiling like I'm like, cheese. And Ryan's like gangster, like looking. And I'm like, you're such a douche. Like, why are you doing that? But we looked so stupid. And then we left the store and was like, well, I guess we didn't get beer. Like, it was such a process. But who chooses the one undercover cop on our off day? Who does that? Oh, I do. I'm the one that does that. That's what I do. I have dogs that have diarrhea as church is coming out on the Lord's lawn, and I choose the cop that is undercover on her off day. Welcome to my life. Anyways, well, this has been a great podcast, I think, as I'm like listening back. Oh, and both the cats came back from inside. Oh, are you guys back? And you know, it's okay to smell now. You're like, you know what? I think that aired out. We can go back inside. You did it. You're the one that stunk it up. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I just so appreciate you guys joining me on this podcast every week. Like, the people that listen, like, you comment and you like, it just helps me and encourages me to keep moving forward. And I love you guys so much. Thank you. And until next week, hopefully it'll be in the morning and I won't be so tired. I don't know if you could tell I was tired, but I was a little tired today. So thank you for putting up with me. I appreciate all of you so much. Until next time, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Pee, pee, pee.